All right, beautiful soul, let's take a deep breath together before we begin. This one's going to touch places inside you that might have been waiting a long time to be understood. We're going to talk about the divine masculine and what he's doing behind the scenes as he prepares for union. Not the version of him that's ghosted you, not the version that said one thing and did another, not even the version that ran when you loved him the most. We're going deeper. We're going to look into the sacred transformation he goes through in silence. The kind of work that doesn't always look like work from the outside. The kind of healing that's done in the dark, often without words, without witness. Because whether he shows it or not, the divine masculine feels this connection. And even when it seems like he's far away, emotionally shut down, or disconnected from your love, there's something stirring inside him. Quietly, slowly, but powerfully. And understanding this will change the way you move through your own journey. It'll soften some of that frustration. It'll help you feel less crazy for sensing a connection when the 3D shows nothing. And it will help you drop back into your heart where union begins in the first place. So let's begin. Number 1, he's learning to feel his emotions without shame. One of the biggest things the divine masculine does behind the scenes is learn how to actually feel, not just react, not just distract, but truly sit with what's moving inside him. You see, for a long time, maybe even his whole life, he's been taught that feeling deeply is weakness, that crying makes him less of a man, that vulnerability is dangerous, that being soft means he'll get hurt, judged, or left. So what does he do? He numbs, he detaches. He pushes emotions so far down that even he doesn't realize how much is buried underneath. But the twin flame connection is different. It doesn't let those feelings stay hidden forever. The moment he connects with your energy, it's like all those emotions start to rise, all at once, and it overwhelms him. Sometimes it feels like panic, sometimes grief, sometimes unexplainable longing, and he doesn't always have the language for it because he's never been taught how to feel safely. So behind the scenes, he starts doing something powerful. He begins to let himself feel, even if only in private. He may cry in silence. He may get angry and not know why. He may feel waves of sadness, regret, or tenderness. And instead of running from them completely, he starts to face them. Not perfectly, not all at once, but slowly. With trembling hands and a guarded heart, he starts to peel back the walls. This part of his journey is raw, and it's sacred, because it's where he begins to reclaim his humanity. Not just as a man, but as a soul. He starts to realize that there's no shame in emotion, that in fact, it's part of his power. And the more he does this, the more his heart begins to open, not just to you, but to himself. So when it feels like he's gone cold or distant, remember, he might be doing the hardest thing he's ever done, feeling. And feeling is the first step toward healing. Number 2, he's breaking free from old masculine conditioning. Let's talk about something most people don't see, the mental programming that's shaped the divine masculine. He's been fed a lie, over and over, since childhood. The lie that says he must always be in control, that love is earned through success, that status matters more than soul, that he should be logical, not intuitive, and that the only way to be man enough is to suppress softness, dominate the world, and never need help. These beliefs have shaped the way he's lived, loved, and led his life. They've influenced his choices, his relationships, and even how he sees you. So when the twin flame connection enters his life, it shakes all of that up. Because suddenly here you are, intuitive, loving, emotionally open. You don't care about his money or achievements. You see him, the real him. And that terrifies the part of him that's built his identity on ego, performance, and pretending. Behind the scenes, something starts crumbling. The mask, the persona, the protective shield he's worn for years. And this isn't a small thing. It's an identity crisis. He starts questioning everything: what it means to be a man, what real strength is, what success truly looks like. He starts noticing how empty some of his achievements feel. He realizes that domination isn't connection, that control isn't love. This deprogramming doesn't happen overnight. It's messy. It can feel like depression, like nothing makes sense anymore. And he doesn't always talk about it because he doesn't even know what to say. But deep within, he's unlearning. He's dropping outdated beliefs. He's making room for a new kind of masculinity, one that honors feeling, one that respects intuition, one that embraces vulnerability instead of hiding it. And as he breaks free from the old mold, he starts becoming the kind of partner who can meet you, not from ego, but from essence. That's what true union requires. Number 3, he's healing ancestral and family wounds. There's another layer to his journey that doesn't always get spoken about, and that's the generational stuff. The divine masculine isn't just healing his own pain, he's healing the pain that was passed down to him, the patterns, traumas, and emotional absences that came through his lineage. The way his father never said, I love you. The way men in his family weren't allowed to cry. The way conflict meant withdrawal or violence. These things shaped him, and they left silent scars. Sometimes he doesn't even realize he's carrying them. He might think that's just how things are, or that's how I was raised. But underneath those beliefs are inherited wounds. Wounds that have blocked love, safety, and intimacy for generations. And when he meets his twin flame, those ancestral imprints get triggered. Because this love requires a new template, one that his lineage may have never known. One that breaks generational chains. Behind the scenes, he begins to confront these patterns. He starts to see the echoes between his parents' relationship and his own. He notices the emotional absence he experienced as a child and how it shows up in his own ability to connect. This is heavy work. It takes courage to see your family not just with love, but with clarity. It takes strength to admit that something has to change, and that you have to be the one to change it. He may go through periods of deep reflection. He might pull away to process. He might go silent, not out of avoidance, but because he's working through things that words can't yet explain. And every time he breaks one of those cycles, even in a small way, he creates space for a new future. For himself, for you, and for the generations to come. This is what makes him divine. Not perfection, but the willingness to heal what others were too afraid to face. Number 4, he's learning to trust his own heart. Now this one's big. The divine masculine has spent so long in his head, rationalizing, analyzing, overthinking. Logic has been his safety net. Facts, plans, outcomes, that's where he's felt most secure. But love isn't logical, especially not this kind. It doesn't follow timelines. It doesn't make sense to the ego. It asks for surrender. It asks for trust. And that's where he struggles, because to trust his heart means letting go of control. It means risking being wrong. It means choosing what feels right over what looks right. And honestly, that scares the hell out of him. Behind the scenes, he's being asked to choose differently, to move not from pressure, but from passion, not from fear, but from faith, to tune into his own inner knowing, even if no one else understands it. This is why he might go quiet, why he pulls back. He's sorting through noise, the voices in his head, the opinions of others, the expectations he's placed on himself. He's learning to listen to something deeper, his soul. And that takes time. It means making peace with past choices. It means forgiving himself for not always knowing better. It means rebuilding a relationship with his own intuition. Sometimes he gets it wrong. Sometimes he doubts. Sometimes he chooses logic and regrets it. But slowly, moment by moment, he starts to trust himself. And that inner trust is what eventually leads him back to you. Not because you're forcing him, but because his heart tells him, this is home. Number 5, he's learning to receive love without running. One of the most tender parts of the divine masculine journey is learning to receive love, real love, not surface level attraction, not transactional affection, but the kind of love that sees all of him, the kind of love that asks nothing but presence, the kind of love you've been offering all along. And the truth? He hasn't always known how to hold that kind of love. Not because he doesn't want it, but because it feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, overwhelming. You see, love like this brings everything to the surface. It reflects back all the places he feels unworthy, all the wounds he's hidden, all the doubts he's never voiced. So what does he do? He runs. He puts up walls. He tests your patience. He pushes you away just to see if you'll stay. Not because he's cruel, but because he's terrified. But behind the scenes, something is softening. He starts noticing how your love doesn't disappear when he's messy, how it holds steady even when he can't, how it invites him again and again to come as he is. And little by little, he begins to let it in. He might start expressing himself more. He might admit when he's scared. He might open up about his past, even if only a little. And in those moments, he's practicing a new kind of intimacy. one rooted in safety, not fear. It's not about grand gestures. It's not about dramatic reunions. It's about those tiny, sacred moments where he allows himself to be loved without needing to earn it. And every time he does that, he gets closer to union, not just with you, but with himself. Because love isn't something he has to chase, it's something he has to allow. And that realization, that changes everything. Number 6, he's building a life that aligns with his soul. Now let's talk about the practical, grounded side of his preparation. The divine masculine isn't just healing internally, he's also restructuring his outer life. He's starting to realize that true union can't happen if his external world is built on lies, half-truths, or outgrown situations. So what does he do? Behind the scenes, he begins to make changes. Quietly, deliberately, sometimes painfully. He might leave relationships that no longer align. He might walk away from careers that don't nourish his soul. He might start pursuing passions he ignored for years, not because anyone told him to, but because he can no longer pretend he's okay with settling. This part of his journey is deeply sacred, because it's where he starts aligning his actions with his authentic self. And that's no small thing. It means letting go of comfort, it means facing uncertainty, it means stepping into the unknown with only inner truth as a compass. Sometimes he stumbles, sometimes he questions everything, but with each choice that honors his soul, he builds a life that can actually hold the kind of love he shares with you. Because union isn't just about reunion, it's about readiness. And that's what he's working on. Number 7, he's preparing to show up with integrity and presence. This is the final piece. Everything he's been doing, feeling, healing, unlearning, aligning, it's all preparing him for one thing: to show up fully. Not half in, half out. Not one foot in the door and the other in fear, but fully present, fully conscious, fully available. He wants to come to you not as a wounded boy looking for comfort, but as a healed man offering partnership. That's why he takes time. That's why he doesn't rush. That's why it sometimes looks like he's gone silent, because he's not just preparing for love. He's preparing to honor love. He's learning how to communicate with honesty, how to hold space without fixing, how to support without controlling, how to lead with heart, not ego. This version of him isn't perfect, but he's present. And that's what changes everything. When he returns, it won't just be because he misses you. It will be because he's ready for the kind of love that transforms both of you. And until then, trust this: every step he's taking, even the ones you can't see, are leading him back to truth, back to himself, and back to you. So if you're watching this wondering if it's real, if this connection still means something, let me remind you, he is not asleep. He is becoming. And every quiet, unseen step he takes behind the scenes is building the bridge that will one day bring him back, not to the past, but to a future you're both finally ready for. Keep trusting, keep growing, and above all, keep loving, because this journey, it's sacred, and so are you.